Okay, Phoenix, we are so excited to have you on. Yeah, and we're going to link your Instagram in the description below. So, for people who don't know you, so I found out about your work through Reddit. I saw someone posted your mixed media art project about Chaperone, and it was so cool. And then I saw that you had a disability, and I was like, let's talk to her. So, what has the experience been like recently of blowing up? Because I saw that a certain somebody liked the post.
That has been crazy because basically, for context, I've been doing art my whole life. Literally, my two main personality traits for the longest time has been being disabled and being an artist. Those two things have always been me since the beginning of time. And I've had posts blow up here and there sometimes to varying degrees, but this is my first big video on Instagram. And I've always been a small artist before that. And it was just the best timing, honestly, because I was starting to feel very defeated as a small artist. And I feel like I wasn't getting the audience I wanted. Obviously, first and foremost, I always create for myself. I'm my main audience. I don't create for any other validation than that. But you want people to interact with your stuff, to know that other people are
Yeah.
enjoying it too. So this has just been very validating to finally get what I've been wanting. And so before this video blew up, I was at like 290 something followers, and now I'm at like 1,200. And some people might think
That's
that's still
crazy.
small, but to me, that's like a lot more. And this is a great starting off point now. I feel like from here on out, my things will get way more reach than normal, which is really exciting to me.
And what went into the making of that? You posted like a little bit of a behind the scenes video, but
Yeah,
I think it said 52 pages. So how did you actually create that? And what's the process like
yeah.
for that?
When I have a project I'm set on, I like to just grind and work on it like day after day. So I'd say that took about 4 or 5 days straight. And
Wow.
I love that it blew up because this is like my third mixed media video like that. This is my first one. I've done it before. But like before I started making those, I'm like my normal art style because I'm a digital artist first. It's like very clean, very like perfectionist, like it's not really messy. So making those videos, it was like learning something new. I had to tell my brain that every single frame didn't need to be perfect. And that the whole point of mixed media, I think, is the messiness of it, the randomness. It has so much character to it. I'd learn a new skill of artistry almost. And that was really fun and really freeing as an artist. I feel like it's helped me a lot in all my other projects as well.
What made you want to become an artist or be in the creative world?
That's a good question. So actually, my parents have both been artists. So I grew up in a creative environment. But it's funny. Now I live with my dad, my mom, and my older brother who is also has the same disability. And it's funny, we used to all do art together, but now I'm like the only one currently still doing it. So I'm the one keeping it alive. So that's where it started. But honestly, like I've thought a few times of theoretically, if I were to write a book about myself, about me being an artist, I don't think I could take the disability part out of it. I think the disability and the art is like linked together because I'm a digital artist mainly now. And I know it's like trendy for our generation to be like good with technology, but I was always like that at a very young age. And the way I realized this was because I constantly grew up on computers in my house. We're talking like 7 years old here. And I think that's realistically because I couldn't like go outside and play with the other kids in most physical activities. I was more active as a child than I am now. But I think that's a big reason why I would just be like on Photoshop at a young age, just experimenting making the most crazy things. Not good, but it was fun. And that made me like ahead of most people my age.
That's really interesting. I was going to ask you about disability in art. Is that you just
Yeah.
talked about a little bit about how it plays into you becoming an artist? Does it play a role in what you do for your art and what you create?
Not really, honestly. I've never really been one of those people that like creates art with purpose or whatever. Like, I think all art is important, but I'm just not one of those creators that's so intentional with my art. I rarely ever draw my feelings. I used to do it a lot more when I was younger. But I think now that I finally feel like I have the skill set, I just want to focus in on the stuff I really love. And right now, that's just drawing people I like.
And so, what role does music play in your art? Because that seems to be a big theme.
Hmm. I think it's part of just being an artist, being a creative person. Even though I'm not like musically talented or whatever, I've always had a big fascination with music. I think it started like when I was 16. I started getting more online friends, and then I just started listening to music they would recommend. And it was really exciting to me exploring all these other genres that I never thought of before. And I guess the way that impacts my art is just most of the people I draw are like musical artists, and I really enjoy their music.
Would you go to school for like art? Because that is something that like I'm passionate about too. So I'm all about the creative style of art. So are you looking into expanding your art and going to school for it?
Yeah, that's a great question. This is actually goes back to what I said about feeling like ahead of most people my age growing up. High school experience, I actually went to a charter school in my area, but surprisingly and frustratingly so, I wasn't really learning anything new. And when I was in middle school, I did the work of making a request to take a high school level Photoshop course. And then after all that work of negotiating, trying to explain why I felt like I needed it, I did not learn anything. I didn't learn anything new. It was all basic stuff. I'm like, you guys need to learn? Like, I already know this stuff. So that was really frustrating. And I experienced that most of my life growing up. So now I'm discouraged about when it comes to art and education. I've also heard stories of it like being really stressful with deadlines and stuff like that. And also sometimes teachers can have a narrow view of what good art is. Sometimes they limit your creativity and they say, oh, only do still life, only do grayscale, only do realism. And also like when it comes to college stuff, I'm discouraged with that as well. Maybe one day, if I find one that's like really good and really beloved. But right now, I like graduated like a year ago now. So I'd say I'm just taking it as it goes, but education is not what my sights are on right now.
Yeah, I did a lot. I didn't go for art, but I did a lot of writing. Like I did communications and I did a lot of writing and screenwriting. And the thing that it can be really great to like work and hone your craft. But I always felt like I love like pop music. I love musical theater. And I was always trying to write something like really fun and silly. And I always felt like that wasn't taken as seriously, like especially in a playwriting class. Like everyone's like very serious and it's like very serious topics. And I'd be like, I want to write a musical. I think you can benefit from it, but I also don't think it's like the end all be all. And I think that you can learn nowadays so much. I'm like a lot older than you. I just turned 36. And what you can learn online now and like on your own is so vastly different. Who's your favorite artist?
Honestly, that changes every day. I can never pick just one. But I'd say right now, my big three are Chapel, obviously, Sabrina, and Olivia. and it constantly just switches between those three.
And what would do you have, you're young, but do you have a dream job? Maybe not for all time, but like something that you think would be really cool to do?
Yeah, see, pre-radicalized me would have said work for Disney, but then I learned how terrible they treat their artists, and I'm like, "Oh, I don't want to do that." Like I said, I'm just taking it as it goes. The dream is to be one of those freelance artists that takes requests as they come. But I know there's a lot of struggles to that. But yeah, like you said, I'm very young, so I think there's no time limit of achieving your goals and finding your path in life. And so many people are just like, go find the next thing. But I personally, especially with disability, it can really bog you down and put bumps in the road. So I just like to take the days as they come.
I always say to myself, I don't, I'm not here to please anybody. I'm not here to make everybody happy. That's not my main focus. My main focus is like to focus on what makes me happy. I totally understand how that voice inside your head's always go, but you're just like, you have to relax and focus on yourself. So
Yeah,
I totally get
definitely.
it.
And I think you make such a great point about how disability can affect a timeline. I know for me, I had
Yeah.
certain plans of after college, I was going to go to LA and I was like going to work in TV. And then my mental health just was not, it just did not allow me to do that for a really long time. And like I got ketamine therapy in the fall and I feel great. And so I'm like a lot older now, but I'm like, why can't I still pursue that? Like I know I'm an older age
Yeah.
than most people when they do that, but I didn't, I just didn't have the right diagnosis. I didn't have the right medication. I didn't have the right doctor. So it took me like a really long time to figure everything out and get to the place where I can be like, okay, I'm getting back to being creative. I'm getting back into like music and into writing. So 100%, I think people who don't have disabilities or don't have experience with people with disabilities, I think they think like you have to do everything on a set timeline. And maybe it's just that we know that you can't, nothing's as predictable when you have a disability.
Even there, it depends on the background too. So my mom she has a Washington background. So everybody's go, you gotta do this type of, you gotta do that type of thing. And I'm just like, no, let me breathe and let me focus. So I understand that pressure of being like, me personally, I'm trying to take everything one step at a time because I don't want to burn out so much energy that I know I have.
Yeah. I was wondering, you must be familiar with Chapel's creative director, Misha Sitar.
Yeah.
Is that a job that you would want to do for somebody?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. The dream, okay. You said dream job, so actually, I'll start being delusional right now.
Go
My
for it, girls.
dream, my dream is to be, okay, it's like this sweet spot between famous but small at the same time. So a lot of people pay attention to my art, but like it doesn't overload my life. But the dream would for the people I do fan art of to enjoy my art so much. They're like, let's work on something together. Make merch for me or
Yeah.
do something like that. That's my dream for people to just get so attracted to that and want to get official stuff done and actually be able to work with the people I admire so much.
I don't think that's delusional at all. Based on what I've seen from you, that sounds like very realistic. Like I was looking at your work and I'm like, she could like they should like Olivia Rodrigo could hire you to make her tour posters and like to make album art. So I think you genuinely have a future. I feel like we're so lucky because I feel like you're like really like about to blow up and one day someone will be like, oh yeah, she's like Olivia Rodrigo's creative director. And we'll be like, oh, we interviewed her like way back in the day.
Don't forget that.
Yeah, don't forget that. We'll be like, we knew her when. Yeah, so
Well, in regards to that, I actually have something to brag about.
go for it.
Curtis Connor is a famous
Connor.
YouTuber slash comedian.
Okay.
He does commentary videos and also stand up. I've been a fan of his since 2022, and I used to consistently draw him. And he's really good. He's really interactive with his audience. So he would like every post. And it got to a point where he knew who I was. And ramblings later, last April, I made a poster of him just for fun. And he actually bought it off me and sold it.
Wow.
And it's
Wow. Wow.
things that happened to me.
That's gonna happen to you a lot more, I think. I have a feeling.
I hope.
Whenever I'm like in a state of mind where I'm just like down on myself, do you ever have anybody you talk to about what's going on? What's going on? Do you ever have a friend or someone you talk to? Because a best friend that literally just asked me about it, and I was like, yes.
Yeah, so I've got a great support system around me. And that's actually because of Curtis. Most of my online friends are fans of his, and I've known them for years. So I'll actually shout out some right now. I'd say my two closest friends right now are Amal, she lives in Canada, and Nix, they live in Australia. And I love fan bases because you really find like-minded people around you. And these friends, they are like just like me. I'm a really passionate person in how I treat my friends. So, and growing up, I've always had the problem of being the one that's more invested than the other person. So now I finally have friends who are just as passionate as I am, and I'm really grateful for that. That poster I made for Curse is literally right there,
Oh wow. Oh, I've seen that. It's just so cool.
and he signed it.
Oh my god. Wow.
Yeah, he signed all his posters, but yeah.
That's amazing. It's been really fun being a Chapel fan over this last year because everyone seems to be really talented, first of all, who's like a fan. There's so much cool artwork being made. There's just so much creativity in her, but as well as the fan base. And it's just been like really cool. I really just hang out on Reddit, and that's the only place I really interact with the other fans. But it's like fun to get excited about something with other people instead of just being, on your own the whole time.
But that's what's
Now
so
it's-
exciting about it blowing up too, is because so many cool gay people are following me, and that's the exact audience I want. So that's great.
This is one of the things I look forward to like during the week because I'm just like, podcast, like who are we gonna have on today? Like we talk about like certain things. It's just like cool how it's coming all together. So like I totally understand.
Like, yeah. So in terms of your artwork and your creativity, do you ever have times when you're just like not feeling that creative, and do you have ways to get out of that kind of funk?
Yeah, so unfortunately, I'm like this endless machine where ideas just constantly come through me, and it freaks me out sometimes, the frequency in which it happens. I'm worried it'll lead to an immense burnout one day, but it's been good so far. But I can speak about some roadblocks. I'm an ambulatory wheelchair user. My form of muscular dystrophy is a rare one, and it's actually one of the more tamer ones I've said. Obviously, I'm not without struggle. Every disability sucks in some ways. I've been through many hospital appointments that I should not have been through. But basically, the more I grew up, the more I had to stay in my wheelchair just for safety. If I fall over, I can't get up myself. So that was the main reason why I'd be in my wheelchair. But unfortunately, that has led up to this year, I've been getting chronic pain now, which sucks. I used to literally never deal with that before. And it's led to me having to be on constant medication every day. It's only over the counter stuff. So nothing too intense, but that was still a major shift for me. I used to always be never think about my disability at all, and now I feel like it's become a way bigger presence in my life than I'm normally used to, and that's been bad sometimes. So that's actually something that does get in the way. My pain levels are different every day, but sometimes they just get too much, and I really want to do my art, but my pain is too distracting. I just have to lay down and rest for a little bit. That's frustrating sometimes.
I know when um I was officially diagnosed with depression, mild depression, and I was like, so whenever I'm in my depression, I'm just like, leave me alone. Don't talk to me. I just need to be in my bed for hours on end. Then I'll come there and get up and start my day. My friend would be like, Misha, even though you have like depression, you're still awesome and amazing. So it's like a balance, but I totally understand how you feel with your mental state and mental health. 'Cause
Yeah.
that's important to the both of us. I think this is why we started this whole process to tell people, hey, we're humans too. We're not just people with disabilities. We're actual humans and we have
Yeah.
feelings too.
And I definitely relate to some days I don't really think about the challenges that I have, like they don't come up. And then some days it's just like all encompassing and like just certain days I
Yeah.
just can't do anything. And other days I'm like, I feel amazing. And my goal in life is just to get more of the good days because I know I'm not going to get rid of the bad days. But if I can accumulate more, if I can accumulate positive experiences, I'm hoping that'll make me feel better in the long run. But it's tough because there's no, like, I do take medicine. Yeah, like I do take medicine for autism. I take an antipsychotic for the irritability, which is super helpful, like unbelievably changed my life. But there's no other like medication for it. And there's no like PT or like OT for it. So the stuff that I struggle with is just always going to be there.
Yeah.
So it is a
Yeah.
challenge of not letting it get me down because but also allowing myself to have times where I do get frustrated. Like I don't want to have to be positive all the time. I
Yeah.
don't want to be negative all the time. I just want to be like, I just want to be like a human who gets to feel all the feelings.
It's hard because sometimes I want to be happy, but I'm like, no. Yeah. Stay in this mood for about like 20 minutes. I'm like, no, I can't do it. But I'm like, I have to. Because some days I'm like, yeah, I want to be happy, not sad. So there's like a balance in between the two. Do you have any tricks like that you would like to do to get yourself out of that bunk?
Yeah. Speaking of self care, obviously there are different forms of self care. But I'd
Yeah.
say if I'm feeling really down, literal self care, like just doing face cream and like cleansers or like that, I find that gives me something to focus on. And just, I think it's because it's a repetitive action. I found that like it's not all the time, it's only sometimes, but I find that it can calm me down. But I'd say art lately, I won't get into it too much, but I'd say this art success has been great, but my personal life has not. So it's a weird contrast. But I'd say I've been really using my art as like a crutch to avoid everything that's going on. And it's something that it's a good distraction because it's fun. It's fun.
Yeah.
Fans of self-care. We're big fans of therapy. We're big fans of taking care of yourself and all of that. Obviously, we talk about self-advocacy on this podcast because it's called Self-Advocacy Wins. And also the name is because I'm developing an app for people with intellectual disabilities called Self-Advocacy Wins. So we did not feel like getting too creative with the name of the podcast. We just kept the same name. So we like to ask people about self-advocacy. And you mentioned earlier about the Photoshop class, but have you had much experience with self-advocating? And can you tell us a little bit little bit about it.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm a big context giver, so I'm going to give you more context. I'd say when I first started realizing ableism was a thing was when I was like 15. Like, I used to always be one of those people. I feel like I was blissfully ignorant of my disability my whole childhood. And meanwhile, everyone else was hyper aware of it. So when kids would like feel bad for me going to surgery again, I'd be like, what do you mean? That's normal. I'm confused. That's not bad. That's just what I do. I became aware of ableism later in life, and I feel like most people do. And in regards to that, when people are weird to me in public, I still don't know how to shut it down. I don't know how to tell people off or try to change their perspective. And I actually get shocked when people treat me like a normal human being and don't infantilize me or assume I can't do
Right.
something.
Right.
I'm shocked by respect, which is crazy. But that's all to say. I'm not good at advocating for that. But something I had to advocate for is I recently developed an autoimmune condition called dysautonomia. And my physical disability used to be the only one. But now I have two, which is another crazy shift. And I had to do a lot of advocating and doctor's appointments on my own for the first time. Because my parents used to handle all of that. But since I was becoming an adult, I was like becoming my own person. And I realized, oh, I have to take care of this myself now. And it was really frustrating. It was a long process of trying to get doctors to listen to me because I didn't know what was going on with me for the longest time. But dysautonomia is really hard to like track and test and stuff. So I had lots of tests and everything would look normal. I'm like, my life doesn't feel normal. I didn't used to feel like this most of my life. So I literally had to start tracking every heart rate flare up and making my own chart to send to my cardiologist. I was like, hey, this is very real. And I wrote a whole long letter to my cardiologist after my primary care physician was like not even listening to me, and it made me really sad. And then I realized, oh, I have to be way more organized with this. I can't just come in with nothing written down because then I get upset and it's all information leaves my brain somehow. Well, unfortunately, I had to take the reins and almost do a doctor's job for them. And now I'm here. Finally, I know I have dysautonomia. I've been taking 2 salt tablets every day to help, like, with my blood collect, and that's been helping a lot. But that was a big traumatic thing. It's easy to talk about now, but it was a long process, and it shouldn't have been. My doctor should have just listened to what I was feeling.
Have you ever felt like your doctors were listening to your parents instead of you? Have you ever felt like that? Because I know I have.
I've felt that upon rare occasion, but I'd say since most of my doctors have stayed the same for a while, they usually honestly, I feel like it's been the opposite sometimes. Sometimes I just want to relax and take the back seat because it's so stressful. I'm like, can you answer this stuff instead? I don't want to talk about this. So it's
Right.
honestly been the opposite. And now I'm the one that's gonna be pushed to speak for myself, and I don't really want to.
I think we both have, when we talked in our first episode, we were talking about our own self-advocacy. And I know mine was in a medical setting too. And I think, Kamisha, I think you've had a lot of medical related ones. Well, just to wrap up, do you have any advice for up and coming artists who are just getting into it?
I think so. I'd say it's okay to get frustrated sometimes. I'm not gonna be one of those people that's you have to be positive all the time. No. It becomes very frustrating sometimes when you don't get the results you want. But just make sure you're creating art for the right reasons. You're creating it for yourself, first and foremost, not for to get famous or whatever. But basically, consistency is the main thing, I'd say. But even then, I don't have all the answers.
I always say to myself as well, I don't need to satisfy everybody. I just need to satisfy myself.
Thank you so much, Phoenix. Thank you for being here and have a great weekend. We look forward to seeing what you make next.